so scary. I forgot a thermometer and she's burning up. Of course she's gonna be okay. I'm worried. So I did the thing you're not supposed to do, which is to wake up and immediately turn the computer on. It's because I was uploading last night and I fell asleep before a video uploaded, and so I just wanted to make sure that it was done. And afterwards, I see this and I'm like, what? Okay, I haven't even walked my dog yet. What the heck, Mom? We got stuff to do. But that's real. That's real. And I wanted to react like now, which is, it's so true. You know, I don't have an autoimmune disease, but being a single parent and traveling, that it's one of my fears. It's one of my thoughts. What if something happens to me and the kids are left alone? I'm so grateful he's 11, so it's not like he's a 2-year-old, you know, that would starve immediately or not know how to make a phone call, or like, do you know what I'm saying? Like, that's not something that's an issue anymore. Every year that he gets older, actually. I've been a single mom since he was 2, and so every year that he gets older, I am happier. I know some people, they're like, they don't want their kids to grow up, they don't want to lose the baby phase, and while I love his baby phases, toddler years and all of that, like every day that Alex gets stronger, I'm happier. And days when I see him weak, days when I see him struggling, I get worried. I get worried not, you know, because struggle is normal, but I get worried because what if I'm not here tomorrow? Now, I do not have an autoimmune disease. I don't have a reason to think that anything would happen to me, but I mean, who does? Who does? So it does. It crosses my mind. Without an illness, without a thing, it crosses my mind, what if I go? Also, as I was watching Karen's video, there was a point where she said Alex's name. And Alex, if you're watching, I'm sorry I do this. And my first thought was, why are you apologizing to my son? It's her ex-husband. She's talking about her ex-husband and how when she is feeling vulnerable, when she feels like, what if, right? This is a tricky situation. She calls him, and she calls him as her backup. And I've never met Alex. I don't know anything about this man. And I don't know how, and every dad who doesn't have custody of their kids or who doesn't, you know, live with their kid probably feels differently. But like I would be proud. I would hope he would be proud that in times of stress, in times of trouble, he's the one you call. That should make him proud. That should make him be like, yeah, I have an ex who travels the world with our kids. She's independent. She takes care of herself really well. It's almost like she doesn't need help. But then in the real moments, in the serious moments, she calls me, be proud. That's. So, while I don't have this kind of disease and I don't worry, I thought I would let you know some tips, because that's what this channel is sometimes about. We're talking tips, what to do. What do you do when you are traveling the world and you're traveling with just your kids who, you know, might need more assistance than you can handle, might get injured, or you might get injured. What do you do? And so one of the things I do is I connect with people. I try to figure out who are the people I can trust, boots on ground. We've never had to use the system, so I never know how well Alex will use it. But right now, boots on ground, right now the person I trust the most in San Cristobal is Karen. One, she's a friend, but not every friend is the person you would necessarily call. You know the people that meet certain requirements. And so for this kind of situation, if I'm fully dead.
Look who knows so much. Your friend here is only mostly dead. There's a big difference between mostly dead and all dead.
Or if I am injured in such a way that I can't help my son, then she's the one that is logistically inclined enough to be able to figure things out. She's the one that Alex will call. Boots on ground, she's less likely to panic, if that makes sense. I see this having just watched a video where she's showing the panic side of her. But she's for sure my first choice. She is the one that will keep Alex alive while everything else comes to play. Now, chances are she will not be in San Cris as long as I am in San Cris. I will probably be here longer than she's likely to be here. And so having other people that I know, that I trust, equally important, which is why building that community, finding people locally that you trust it's clutch. It's mandatory. And then making sure that they know who Alex is, they know where I live, that Alex knows how to communicate with them is important. Now again, I think similar things would apply if Alex were younger, if he was 2 years old, but the onus would not be on Alex as much. The onus would be on other people. I would probably be a little more clingy with certain people because I would want them to be like, ooh, she hasn't called me in a minute. Ooh, she hasn't said something. Like, it's really unusual. Let's check in on her. And so meeting people who would do that, important. Right now, Alex is pretty independent. I'm pretty independent because Alex is independent, because I don't need as much. When I used to travel in the US through the military, every time I transferred somewhere, that was one of my first things to do. It was find a community. I often did it through church, honestly, finding new church groups, letting them know who I am. Like, I imagine some people when they met me, they were like, she's oversharing. I need to meet people that react a certain way to this information. Hi, I'm Anne. Yeah, a single mom. I've got an 11-year-old active duty in the military. I want to hear certain keywords after that. I would further be like, yep, I'm on a ship, or I'm at ATG, or like wherever it is I work, and kind of how often I go underway or how often I think I go underway. And then I would just ask, like day one meeting you, I would be like, so who do you know that can do overnight babysitting? Do you know anyone? Because finding these people out in my military life was vital. I had to have people boots on ground. I couldn't just ship my son off to another state just because I'm getting underway necessarily. Now, full underway, yes. If we're talking about deployment, yes, he's going to family. But if we're talking about a fast cruise, if we're talking about 3, 4, maybe even a week long, if I can find somebody boots on ground I can trust, that's ideal. And so I did. I found people boots on ground that I could trust. The older Alex is, the more comfortable I am with leaving him with a friend as opposed to family. Yeah, you do what you gotta do as a single mom, and same here in San Cris. The other thing is we have a plan of who we do call. If I get sick or something is horribly wrong, who do we call? And we don't call perhaps the obvious choice. We call my sister, who is in Georgia, because she is logistically inclined, and of course she loves us, and so she will probably move heaven and earth, literally, to make sure that Alex gets back home, that whatever needs to happen happens, because she has the mindset, awareness of what needs to happen, even having never been to Mexico, right? And so I'm very comfortable, no matter where I am, letting her know where I am. I don't have an immune disease, so it's not that I'm calling her all the time necessarily, but the connection is always there. She is my first connection because she is the one that has the clearest mind, the calmest heart. She can handle the situation without breaking down first. Because when I'm in a crisis, I don't need someone who's gonna break down first. I need someone who's going to be like, okay, what do I need? Who do I need to call? What can I do? And she has the intelligence and the calm to do this. So that's Marge. She's number one. Number two would be my dad. And then between the two of them, very confident they can make everything work out. And so they know my address. Actually, I don't think they know my San Cris address. I'm gonna tell them my San Cris address. But they knew my address in Merida, and they know that I'm in San Cristobal. So anyway, I'll catch them up today. But they know these things. They know where my power of attorney paperwork is. They know where my will is. So all the documents, all the paperwork, they have access to. They know our passport numbers. I need to send a picture of my FMM. So yeah, so they know these things. They also, I haven't done this yet for San Cris. Oh my gosh, I'm really glad right now as I'm talking about it that I saw this video and that it's going to prompt me to do the rest of the things that I'd already done in Merida. So they're going to know Karen's address. They're going to know Karen's connections because she's boots on ground. right? They're going to know that. They're going to know my host, my Airbnb host's information, because she's boots on ground. And so she's somebody that can get them in the house, because I'm not necessarily going to mail them keys to every house I ever live in. Having boots on ground help is vital. And so my sister and my dad will know that information. They already have from Merida the US consulate information, but that will be reminded. I basically create a little PDF that has all the information, like a one-stop sheet of paper that has everything my sister might need, and then she gets that. She knows when my rent is due. She knows how much is due, because might be pertinent. My sister knows that information, my son knows that information, as well as knowing Alex's situations. So yeah, that's what I do. I think it's got to be worse when you have had situations where you could have died from. It's got to be worse. But I think there's no such thing as a single mom or a single parent that doesn't ponder what will happen if I die? Like, I'm it. There's no backup plan. There's no I die and then no big deal, dad's already here or somebody's already here that can handle it. That's not a thing. That's part of single mom life. So, love you, Karen. I hope you feel better really soon. I'm glad Kiara's doing better, and thank you for reminding me to do some of the things that I already know to do, because I didn't do them yet here. And you just never know.